Call to order the Berlin Township Board of Commissioners meeting for July 15th, 2026. We will have a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Could we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner Fairchild.
Present.
Commissioner Overly Smith.
Present.
Commissioner Martin. Commissioner Walsh.
Present.
Commissioner Clark.
By way of President's announcements, I'd like to say that this meeting will be live streamed for those who wish to attend virtually. A recording of the meeting will also be available afterward for anyone who cannot join in real time. I'd like to remind speakers to identify their names and addresses and to speak directly into the microphone. First up, we have consideration approval of the minutes of the Board of Commissioners meeting for June 17th, 2026.
I had a correction on page 9, on the Municipal Advisory Board section down there. It says, Smith announced their next meeting would take place. It would not take place July 7th because the meeting was canceled.
I had a correction for on page 5 and 6 reference to Ed Franklin. His last name is actually Franco. So it's Ed Franco. We have any other additions or corrections?
I move the approval of the June 17 minutes as corrected.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Now we have President's recognition of visitors, which can include anybody who would like to make a public comment on an item not on the agenda. Do we have anybody that wishes to make that type of comment? We have one gentleman standing up for your.
Yeah.
Yes, good evening, commissioners and ladies and gentlemen. John Dugan, 1764 North Meadow Drive in Meadowview. I appeared before the board about a year ago, okay, because I didn't understand why the last 5 houses of North Meadow Circle, the street wasn't paved. And you may remember I dropped off a packet and then they came back and put asphalt sealant on it. Now it looks like a graffiti board. And I have to tell you, okay, I think somebody doubled down, okay, on the decision that was made. North Meadow Circle was in your 2015 roadway improvement plan, right? Was there. I saw the red line, right? You know these documents better than me. Came out and they stopped the paving at the end. And your consultants, okay, your committees, for whatever reason, I don't know if it was your engineer or your internal people, said, there's only 2 homes on the one side. Remember, it intersects with Southview Drive there. I'm sort of on the corner of North Meadow and Southview Drive. You refused to pave it. Okay, I came here and said, now I got this, right? All these sealants, cracks. This looks like before. This is that asphalt sealant you put down. I just don't understand that. Okay, listen, you have a lot more important issues than John Dugan standing here in front of you tonight than speaking to you about going back and paving this, okay? Whether it's an overlay, whether you can do something, I'm going to stay away from the technical details. All I'm saying as a taxpayer, and I own that home and I own, mom and dad, my in-laws' house, next door. I just can't believe that this wasn't done. I mean, I don't understand it. And then someone acknowledged that the roads were cracked, right, et cetera. And they came back and put this asphalt ceiling. I'm going to drop this off to your clerk, okay, all over the road. And I just don't understand that, okay? You had it in your plan. You said you were going to do it. And again, listen, you have a lot of tough issues to deal with, right? You have zoning issues, data center issues, all the stuff I read about, in your minutes, and a lot of challenges. But I'm just going to say to the audience tonight, okay? And I'm going to say to the people on the microphone, if you don't get the little things right, okay, you're going to lose trust. You're going to lose transparency, right? There's going to be an issue on the big issues. If we can't trust you on the little issues, okay? Because on this particular issue, I feel pretty adamant, okay, that I'm right about this issue. And someone, for whatever reason, acknowledged probably is right, went back and puts this asphalt sealant down, right? And then says to me, well, see you next time. Well, next time is 2038. 2038's in your plan. I looked it up. So I'm just respectfully requesting, okay? You seem like decent, good people, honorable people. These are these are big investments we put in these homes. I was very patient when they did the sideway curb issue, when they destroyed the lawn. I asked them to come back. They put rocks and dirt. I just did it, right? I planted the seed, on my own. I've been very patient, okay, with a lot of things. But this one, I have to come out of my house every morning. And as soon as I pass the 5 homes, it looks terrific. You did a nice job, throughout the developments. I don't know what people are looking at on the screen because I can't see it, but just drive by. Just go, remember North Meadow Drive used to dead end right at my house. You may remember that before they started North Meadow Circle. Not that I expect anybody, to be there. So I would just respectfully request, okay, that you would take another look at this and see if there's something that can't be done. But again, thank you for your service. I know you have a lot of issues. And I
What
appreciate it.
answer did you get last year? I forget how we left it.
Well, so what happened was Rick Castriano, who's a gentleman, always a gentleman. I like Rick. Rick called me and said that the committee said no, they're not going to do it. And I think at that point he might have mentioned to me that they were going to do the asphalt sealant on the cracks. Well, if you saw it cracking up, remember, there's been a lot of heavy traffic right down North Meadow Circle. That's sort of an acknowledgement there's an issue. You don't have to be a civil engineer, an engineer to see that there's an issue with this concrete and it's going to be full of potholes long before 2038. I can tell you that. But listen, Rick was gracious, as he always is, and he was a gentleman. He felt bad. I'm just going to tell you that. He felt bad, whoever he consulted with, at the township or otherwise. So I don't have a problem with the responsiveness. I was responded to. I just disagree with the decision.
And you're talking, he has the map up there. You're talking just the circle part or? I don't know, Mike.
Someone orient me toward North Meadow Drive and Southview. Okay, that's my house that sits catty corner. I can see it from here. See that little orange speck there off to the right. Yeah, right in there. So go up Southview there to North. No. Right there. Put it up in the intersection at the top there. No, other way. Right there. Okay. So a little to the right of that, okay, see that first home? So like from there down to my driveway, just keep going straight down now, no, the other way. Yeah, keep going. That's my driveway right there. They didn't pave. We're talking like 100 yards here. They paved everywhere. Well, they didn't pave North Meadow Circle because that's new, but they paved all the way down to that home that I had them start from, and they paved all of Southview. It's just that little carve out, which I for the life of me, I don't understand. Yeah, that's a better depiction there. Now I can tell you, you don't see all the cracks that I have right now. I don't know when that photo was taken or if that's real or live, but
Still construction going on further?
there is construction. There's some homes still being built in North Meadow Circle. They have 3 or 4 lots, maybe. I think Farinelli has 3 or 4 lots to
I'm
build.
just speculating because I'm in Orchard Glen and I remember my house was done in kind of I have no idea what the circumstances are of this situation, but mine was done and there were still lots around me that were open. So we waited quite a while before they did the finish. Could that be what's?
I don't think so, because where you see that line there, they paved all of North Meadow. They paved all of Southview there. They paved everything around me. They didn't start paving North Meadow Circle, and I understand that, where it stops at the end of my driveway. So now they came in, they put this asphalt ceiling. It looks worse than ever. It's just, I don't want to belabor it. Listen, I would just request, I know you got a lot of important issues to discuss here, I'm sure, tonight, but I just think it's wrong.
I think our real expert on this is the township engineer who writes the road plan. I didn't know if you had a comment, Jason, or can give us some direction.
It's, when we did an assessment on the road originally, it didn't rise to the level that we felt warranted a full mill and overlay. The conditions change on an annual basis. It's something that we've taken under advisement, including the Public Works Department, who continues to monitor it. I do understand that they went out and provided some crack sealing as a temporary, ongoing maintenance provision, which we employ on a lot of our roadway system. It's certainly something that we'll continue to monitor, and if it rises to the level that we need to include it or incorporate into another one of our annual projects, we'll certainly do so.
I mean, I appreciate that, but it's an eyesore now, okay? And I was told, well, the other road will look like that eventually. So I appreciate, I know what you're trying to do. I'm a lawyer, not an engineer. I know what you were trying to do with the asphalt sealing, but it's not a good look. It wasn't a good remedy, but I appreciate you trying to rectify it.
And in the road plan, there's like different treatments. Like I think you got the years right, the 2038. Is there an interim treatment we could consider?
Potentially, it's such a short section of road, it really is a good practice. We'd want to assess, a longer length of road, potentially whenever the rest of North Meadow Drive is paved, we'd work something out at that time to include this section if it warrants it.
And then we could add it on as kind of a change order or something.
That's correct.
An existing contract. I mean,
That's correct.
I'd be happy to do that. I mean, I think the gentleman's point is correct about taking care of the little things. And also you come back, you don't solve the problem, but it keeps coming back at you and taking even more time.
Mhm.
And
Okay. Yep.
2038 seems a long time to wait, but
But I appreciate it.
more.
Listen, I've taken too much of your time tonight. Thank you. Thank you.
Next, we have our consent agenda, consideration approval of the staff reports. We have any questions or comments about the staff reports?
No question. Motion to approve.
Um,
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of approving the staff reports?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, staff reports are approved. Next, we have consideration approval of bills in the amount of $969,937.91.
I move their approval.
Second.
Second.
I have comment about the bills that I believe the largest payment is to the Lower Allen Township Authority in the amount of $362,103. That's I think that's quarterly payment to them for the part of our sewer system that goes to Lower Allen. And then we had $211,000 of health insurance cost. We bought a rotary mobile column lift for $74,000 that will allow us to service like large truck equipment. So that investment was made. We also had a pretty hefty repair bill on a piece of paving equipment to the tune of, I think, like $50,000 almost. We also upgraded playground equipment at Winding Hills Park. I believe they were shade structures. So that's where a lot of the money went. I know Ken always looks for the small purchase. I did see something for 73 cents, forget what it was, but that's just some more color on the bills. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, bills are approved. Next, we have a financial security release for Funtastic. It's Upper Allen Township file number PZ 2408-07. And maybe is it Michelle or Mike or Jason wants to speak to that?
Sure. The original security was posted an amount of $174,831.80. We found that considerable improvements have been completed to date. However, some additional improvements have been proposed by way of a supplemental highway occupancy permit plan. So this reduction is a little complicated in that we are recommending additional money be withheld from the reduction to compensate for the additional improvements that were proposed after the plan was presented to the board. Therefore, we're recommending reducing the current balance by $77,290.16 to provide a remaining balance of $97,541.64.
I move we reduce the financial security by releasing $77,290.16.
Second.
I would just comment that the remaining large remainder of the money is to be used to build sidewalks in front of the Fantastic, I believe across the Zimmerman automotive property. They'll connect onto the sidewalk at Aqueduct Car Wash.
Yes, that's correct. There are some miscellaneous items that we're retaining approximately a value of $20,000+. The remainder portion of that is $68,000 for the value of sidewalk and ADA ramp improvements.
Any additional comment? No. All those in favor?
Aye.
Mr. President, I was curious about, I know that Fantastic is operating and I see it's business. Are they planning a ribbon cutting or anything, or I've not heard?
Actually, I should have announced that. They had a ribbon cutting for the skate park at Kozer Park.
Oh, yeah.
On Sunday, which was donated by the owner of
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
So did that cover both maybe, or?
What cover?
I didn't know if they were
Oh,
gonna cut
a
the
ribbon
ribbon
cutting
for
for the
the
business.
new business.
Yeah, he said the business is open.
Yeah, it is, I
So,
know.
yeah, maybe
Okay.
we need to have he will want to have a ribbon cutting.
Get free refreshments.
All right. All right, Public Safety Committee. We have a letter of resignation from our police chief, which we've known about, but after
Yeah.
34 years of service and so forth, and a very well-planned transition. So the chief has given us his letter of resignation. Would you like to add to that?
Oh, thank you, Commissioner. Yes, that's before you. Spent 34 years here with Upper Allen Township Police Department. I think like 8 years as a patrol officer, 20 as a patrol sergeant, and now 6 as a police chief. And it was a great honor to serve the community of Upper Allen Township. It's really a special place, and I've really enjoyed it. It's been challenging. It's changing, but the department's in good hands. I thank you for your support of Lieutenant Barnes being the next chief. This police department's loaded with talent. We just went to the graduation of the 2 newest officers, Catherine Wilhite. She was the president of her class and gave a great speech. And then Alex Groff won awards for top academic award for the class and top driving award. And that's just our 2 new officers. They're extremely talented, experienced, and ready to go. So it's in good hands. And thank you. But if you could just consider that letter, I would appreciate it.
So, Mr. President, I'd like to indicate that this is kind of a bittersweet moment because I'd like to not let Chief Parsons leave because he's done such a wonderful job and he's been an asset to the department, both to the general safety of our communities, but also in the management and the development of personnel within the department. I think he's second to none. So, but in all fairness, he deserves to retire. So I'm going to make the motion that that we accept this letter of retirement from Chief Parsons, and we do it with unanimous and the utmost appreciation for a career well done.
We have a second.
Second.
I would just forgot to mention, I believe your last day, chief, will be September the 10th.
Yes, I do have some
We
vacation
have-
time to use, and
Take time to arrange a proper send off, perhaps. So,
thank you.
Artie.
so all those in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Okay. And did you have anything to add for the
The only
regular
other
safety
thing I
report?
noticed up here at the intersection with our Shepherdstown area, that intersection of Gettysburg and South Market, the signs are up on the traffic signal poles there for the no turn on red.
Yeah.
So they're not activated yet, but they're there. So those will activate no turn on red when the pedestrian crosswalk is activated. So nobody's turning right as pedestrians are crossing. So that was one of the safety enhancements that you did, and that's coming to fruition here, I would imagine, pretty soon. So, thank you.
Thank you. Yep. Fire Chief Schomburger.
Yeah, if you looked at my report, last month, we had 65 calls, an average of 6.83 per call. All my stats are there for the incentive program and with your reports. Chicken barbecues coming up August 1st. That'll be the last one for the summer. So, and in light of the recent storms and stuff, we had a few CO calls because of generators running too close to the house, running next to the front door, whatever. So I just want to urge everybody to be cautious. The township did post something on the Facebook, but as soon as the power went out, we had a couple calls with actual CO readings in the house because of the generators running right next to the front door. So.
That's good advice. All right. We have Planning and Zoning Committee. Action on street vacation for Old Hollow Road. We had a hearing on this matter prior to this meeting, which was to take testimony. So I'm not sure what form of action we're expected to take. I believe there needs to be a waiting period or an advertisement.
If there's a suggested motion in your meeting packet that explains the steps. So I would just recommend that you, if you want to vacate the road, that you
So I don't know, maybe
Take that
should we
way.
go through it for the benefit of the audience that's here? Perhaps they would want to hear why this is occurring.
Well, it says it in the motion. You want to do that? The motion.
Yeah, I didn't know if
tells-
I could put it up on the screen,
Oh,
what area we're talking about and why it's being done. It's on the Daybreak Church property. It's a piece of land or right of way that originally, I mean, the road had crossed Route 15 at one time. Now has, I think Ken said 30 feet of fill over top of it. And church wants to expand their parking lot and so forth, and there will be an area used for stormwater improvements. But not to steal your thunder, but if you're ready, Mike, there.
That's
Can I
fine.
add-
Yeah, that's correct. The area to be vacated is right in the middle of where a stormwater retention basin is planned to go. When they do their stormwater management plan, they'll need to use that area. So we need to vacate this portion of Old Hollow Road, which is currently unpaved, and serves no use to the township at this point, to let them create that stormwater management basin. It'll be about 5 feet south of the entrance to the dog park, down to the right of way for Route 15.
you showed a satellite image.
Satellite, I could do that. Yep.
And I'm correct, Mike, that this isn't really used as vehicular passage now anyway. It's just a paper street, correct?
That's correct. It's the section right from about here down to Route 15. And this has been unpaved for 25, 30 years or more.
And Mike, that's the parking lot for Daybreak Church and then the dog park, just to orient the audience.
That's correct. This is a parking lot for Daybreak. This is the dog park. And then the stormwater basin is going to go in this area right here, straddling both sides. Both sides are owned by Daybreak Church right now. They just don't have that strip in the middle.
Move to approve the request to vacate an approximately 12,113 square foot area of the right of way of Old Hollow Road from Route 15 right of way north to approximately 5 foot from the dog park access path. Township staff and the solicitor are hereby authorized to file the appropriate written report and supplementing documentation at the Cumberland County Recorder of Deeds Office after a 30-day filing period has expired or upon the order of the court upon disposition of any exceptions, the board shall consider adoption of an ordinance to vacate said portion of right-of-way of Old Hollow Road.
Second.
Any other board member comments? Do we have any public comment on this matter? Not hearing it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have consideration action on an amendment to the March 4th, 2026 conditions of approval for Stratton Park Townhomes preliminary final subdivision and land development plan to permit an extension of time for the applicant to complete conditions and recordation of the plan. It's Upper Allen Township file number PZ 2504-02. We started a precedent. I think maybe the staff will introduce this first. And
I can simply introduce the location and orient everyone. This is off of 232 West Lisburn Road. Back in March 4th, the board considered and took action on a 19-unit development called Stratton Park. And the applicant is here before the township requesting an extension to condition number 22 to provide an added timeline to satisfy their conditions and record the plan. And the applicant's attorney is here to present.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm Steve Albrandt from McNeese, Wallace and Nurick. We represent CPY Properties. And like you said, we got this approval back in March. So a little bit of the back history of this is a little over a year before we got approval, we went to PA American Water and asked for a will serve letter, which they said, yeah, no problem. We'll give it to you. But just to be aware, that expires in a year. So we said, okay, we'll hold off until we get approval from Upper Allen for the project. And then we'll come back to you and get the letter. That way we know we'll have the timeline to line up. We went back to get that letter and they informed us that they do not have the ability to serve us at this time. And there needs to be some improvements made before that can happen, which they predict to be about 3 to 5 years. So what we're requesting is a 3-year extension on that comment. And if it happens to matriculate within that 3 years, we'll obviously abide by it and we'll get hooked up. But if it doesn't happen within that 3 years, we'll come back and give you guys an update and ask for a further extension and give you guys a timeline then.
May I comment on one thing? Just to be clear, I believe it's Veolia. We had asked about that in the past. I think you mentioned
Veolia.
PA American.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Just to confirm.
gotcha.
Okay. Did you reach out originally to PA American for that?
I
Or
believe
did you
so.
go to Veolia because they're your service provider?
Yep, I believe so. You're correct. But now that things have changed, we'll have to
So you
pivot.
initially reached out to PA American
Right.
and they said, no problem. Now you're finding out that Veolia
That is
cannot
correct.
serve
That area has always been served by Veolia,
Correct.
United Water prior to that.
Yeah, so that's where we're at, unfortunately. It's kind of out of left field for us because we weren't anticipating this when we got approval, but that's why we're here asking for the extension.
I have a reservation about the request. I understand that perhaps the situation is no fault of your own because, well, you had information from a different utility, but if Veolia can't provide water, then you don't have a viable project. And to extend the project for 3 years gives me pause because that way the board doesn't get another chance to look at the project. And in 3 years, traffic patterns can change. There could be additional development in that area. There could be other factors in the township that change, and we're bound to an action that we had taken 3 years previously. So that really gives me pause.
it gave me pause as well. It just seems like a long time, and that we're also obligating a future board to maybe to continue with this plan. And a lot can happen in 3 years or 5 years.
Yeah.
So that was my reaction. I mean, I'm not sure how we would proceed or
Well,
other
some
board
of
members
the-
have comments, but
Some of the commissioners have individually raised those concerns with me, and I have not had adequate time to really look into this issue. So my recommendation would be that you table this to a later date to give me time to research this issue. And I want to confirm with the developer the correspondence that they had with the various entities. So I would just recommend that this be tabled tonight and
That
be
sounds fair.
presented at a later date.
That's fine.
I move we table this agenda item.
Second.
Thank you.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next, we have consideration action of a certificate of appropriateness for 422 Gettysburg Pike, existing roof replacement, and a recommendation from the Historic Architectural Review Board, I believe, to allow this project to go forward. So we have a speaker, or does staff want to say something first, or?
Yes, I'll just briefly introduce our applicant, Lynn Pennybaker. She owns the property at 422 Gettysburg Pike and made an application to the Historic Architectural Review Board for a replacement in kind for roofs on her property as part of a recent purchase. And we understand that it's for also satisfying insurance purposes. I want to point out also, she was very kind in waiting while we had a quorum. So thank you. I want to say that publicly. It's very much appreciated. It's in the R2 zoning district and in the Shepherdstown Municipal Historic District. And we have a few photos that we can page down to help facilitate the conversation. The HARB did recommend unanimously to approve the request.
On the barn here, that's a shingle roof. I'm going to put a metal roof on there.
And did the other outbuilding already have a metal roof? So it would be consistent with, okay.
And the house, the addition to the house has a dark brown roof. I was going to try to match that on all of the roofs.
Oh, okay.
And I think the HARB was very appreciative of your efforts to make those consistent and to match the style of the home. Nice job.
You'll make a motion?
Yeah, I move to grant a certificate of appropriateness to the property owner of 422 Gettysburg Pike for the following improvements. 1, in-kind replacement of the main roof on the dwelling and the small garage and the large garage with either shingle or metal material as presented. The appropriate permits and design of the improvements shall be in accordance with the applicable building codes and other ordinances and in accordance with specifications submitted and reviewed by the Historical Architectural Review Board.
I second.
I would just like to add, I looked up your address on the property map, or it's the house I thought it was. You're kind of the gateway to the historic district. I believe you have a sign probably near your house, saying historic district.
Yes.
Just appreciate your patience for going through the process and doing the right thing and keeping the home, as close to original as possible. So thank you.
I really love the house and the location. So I want to keep it looking nice.
It's a beautiful home.
A lot of work.
So all those in favor of issuing the certificate?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you, ma'am. Next, we have discussion of the preliminary final land development plan for 1924 Fisher Road. Parkland dedication / recreation fee in lieu of parkland dedication. It's Upper Allen Township file number PZ 2601-02. Does staff want to orientate us first?
Yes, we do. Just for reference, this project is about 3 acres located on the southwest side of, if north is north, true north, it's on the south side of Fisher Road. Friendship Park is just diagonal, and also Fisher Park is our other park that's not too far. By way of background, the project was first introduced to the board after Planning Commission recommendation for approval back on May 20th. The commissioners had some bit of discussion about the applicant's proposal to offer fee in lieu of parkland dedication in the amount of $43,700. At that time, the board tabled the application for allowing time for further conversation with township staff and the applicant. The applicant and township staff, the solicitor, and 2 members of the board met on May 2nd out at the property to discuss alternatives. And the applicant is here this evening to continue that conversation with our board.
Thank you. So, hi again. I'm Steve Albrecht from McNeese. We represent Hart's Real Estate LLC. And as she said, we've had some productive discussions with regards to how we can, meet the township goals as well as our goals for developing this parcel. We submitted an updated plan to you guys with some suggestions on how we can kind of move forward and some alternative connections to Fisher Park, as well as some sidewalks. And we just wanted to get your feedback on which ones you may be open to. And that way we can have some guidance to resubmit a plan for next month's meeting. If you guys need a copy of it, I have some printed out.
I mean, we've had other discussions. I'm still very interested in the 1 acre land dedication. I wasn't seeing much movement on that in some of the drawings, but
Thank you.
So you can see the trail which would connect our internal roadway there to Fisher Park. And then the orange are the sidewalks that we would propose to put in for added connectivity from Friendship Park down to Fisher Park.
So does the green trail, does that go over the Banzoff property or the Strzok property?
The Banzoff property.
Excuse me, do we have the digital form of the map?
I don't know if we have a digital form. No, we don't have a digital form, but I have some copies, extra copies if you'd like them.
We
on the
can,
11/15s.
I can get that up for,
Okay.
it's the same exhibit that we've seen before, staff would have seen.
Yes, they would have seen it, as long as it's the one with the updated green and orange layers on it.
So do you have an agreement with the other landowners to construct this park if we approve the plan?
We've had discussions with some of the landowners. They were at the meeting that we had on site, and we kind of went through, what that would look like. So there would have to be an agreement in place, obviously.
So you don't have an agreement?
Not present.
And my understanding, sorry, and this was an either or, right? I know they're still putting it up, but this was a either orange or green.
No, both.
Oh.
So the green just delineates that is a trail, not a sidewalk.
Oh, okay.
The sidewalks are orange. And then there's also a crosswalk that comes up, I think that is at Southfield Drive, what's called there, that connects Friendship Park down to the new sidewalk along Fisher Road, coming across our frontage there and then continuing on. So there are some options with this. Obviously, if the township wanted the connectivity from Friendship Park, we would put in that crosswalk there across Fisher Road down to our parcel. And then there would only be one sidewalk that the township would have to worry about as far as maintenance and things like that. So the alternative is we continue along. We obviously put our sidewalk in on our frontage, but then we continue along the next 2 properties to get towards Fisher Park. But that would, again, put more maintenance responsibility on the township. As far as the green trail, we already are going to have people on site if there's needed for snow removal. So we are willing to incorporate that, even though it's off of our parcel, to clear that and stuff. So
the orange pathway going toward Fisher fronts on the Banzoff property, and then I guess the next property isn't identified, but do you have so you don't have an agreement with Banzoff for either the orange or the green pathway, correct?
yet.
At this point.
We wanted to
And
get
then-
direction from you
and then
guys first.
Have you had discussions and or negotiations with the next landowner?
We have not to date. Just wanted to get your feedback on which direction we were going to take before we jumped the gun and pursued that.
So folks in the audience know, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
The plan that we're looking at, the sidewalk would cover that other small.
Yeah,
where they're the
that's correct.
keep
That's the
property.
plan. That's the same plan we're looking at. However, where the cursor is at the present would also be a sidewalk. That's the only difference.
The orange would go to
Would
Fisher
go all the way to
Park.
Fisher.
Yep.
Sure, you mentioned a couple of alternatives, but you didn't reference the 1 acre of land, the dedication of an acre of land. Isn't that also an option, an alternative?
Well, yes and no. From our perspective, the property being only 3 acres, it would be very difficult financially for it to make sense if we had to dedicate a full acre on the back end of our property. So we wanted to kind of come up with some ideas that would, connect the two parks with a pretty easy plan going through our property and then kind of getting off of the right of way there. And then our project would still be financially viable. So that was our thought process there, and we just wanted to see what the township's feedback was.
Sure. And my understanding is, and Mike, maybe you can address this, but doesn't the ordinance allow for the option of a 1 acre dedication?
Yes, and the ordinances say that the commissioners have discretion to take the money or the land.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That's a good question, Phil, because I understand that that's the commissioner's decision. It's not the developers.
That's my understanding.
Correct.
But if the commissioners are never presented that option, I mean, it's like chicken or egg. That's part of it I don't understand. Maybe the solicitor can enlighten me. But if the developer refuses to dedicate an acre, I mean,
My understanding based on past communications with the developers that they were not going to propose to dedicate 1 acre of land. And if the township was going to deny the plan because they would not donate 1 acre of land rather than pay the fee in lieu of dedication, that the developer intended to appeal that decision.
so we could deny the plan on that basis.
You could, but it would be, I think, almost certain that would pull the township in the litigation.
But it's in the ordinance. I mean, why is it there if we're not going to enforce it?
Well, Phil, while he's thinking, I always thought we had the choice either or.
There's certain factors that I think the board it would behoove the board to discuss this with counsel in private.
The amount in lieu of acre was how much?
About 43,700, which roughly comes out to $1 a square foot.
And what do you estimate the cost of the additional sidewalks and trail to be?
We haven't really got that far. I mean, Jay Krieger's here from RGS if you have some thoughts, but about 75. So, yeah, it is an investment, but we're willing to do that for the township to improve the
It's about
connection.
$30,000 more than what you would have to pay.
I'm sorry,
Am I correct? You're saying that the amount in lieu of 1 acre was 43,000 and the
Correct.
cost to do this work would be around 75,000. Okay.
75. Yeah, 75 to 100.
Okay.
I have a question, if I may. Can you confirm does that include the acquisition of any easements and so forth? Or is that assuming that the township is providing assistance with that? Or is this just for the construction of the sidewalk?
That's just
So-
construction, so anything outside of that would be on top of that.
Okay, so you all are proposing that or to take care of that as part of this, or is that something else?
Well, from my perspective, it would certainly seem if the developer wants to propose something in lieu of land dedication, that negotiation and acquisition of easements or purchase of adjoining real estate is on
Be a
them.
total.
I mean, I don't think it's a township responsibility.
Right, I'm just,
Yeah.
I wanted to confirm
Yeah,
that
okay.
75, is that just for construction or that?
That is just for construction.
includes
Yes,
The acquisition of any easements and so forth would be above and beyond
you are correct.
on
Yep.
the applicant.
What is this currently zoned, Michelle, Michael?
R2.
Archer?
I find a lot of this disingenuous. There's objection to our ordinance, but there's not objection to paying the fee in lieu of amount, which is probably 10 to 15 years old. The public record shows that this property was sold on December 31st, 2025 for $350,000. It is 3.52 acres. So the market rate appears to be $100,000 an acre. Yet you're happy to pay us 40. You don't object paying us 43,000, which is nowhere near what the current market value is. But you do apparently object to giving us an acre of land, which I believe we're fully entitled to. And if you want to challenge our ordinance, I mean, then go ahead. But this is very disingenuous. I think that this is a whole diversion about these sidewalks and trails and all that. If we don't get an acre of land, Fisher Park is obviously right there. I think you saw our agenda. We're going to be considering a land preservation referendum. We could have more funds to purchase land in the future. I mean, it is very valid. You were here previously representing the Stratton Park project. I believe that involved an offer of an acre of land or a dog park at some point.
Yeah,
But
that was the
there's
opposite
no rhyme or reason here. It's like you're picking what you want to pick, but we also have that right. We also have the right to have it heard in the court as to whether our ordinance is any good. I'm an elected official, so are the other ones. Why are we here? You know, if we don't defend our ordinance or it's no good, you know, to me, if you want to challenge our ordinance, go ahead. And I personally do not buy this logic that it's uneconomic to reduce the number of units, that the project is unfeasible. There again, that's your claim. You buy the land for $350,000. You build 19 townhomes, which we get building reports that they come in for a construction cost of $150,000 a unit. So 19 townhomes, what is that? Like $3 million worth of investment. You know, the rental. I mean, it's a tremendous, you know, profit potential, I think, for the developer. But you know, when is enough enough? You know, why does every square inch have to be plastered over? I mean, I'm just very much for standing our ground on this, just so you know.
I understand.
Okay. Do we have any public comment on this? Yeah, please come forward. Because also, Mr. Attorney, we've heard from a lot of the neighbors and there's concern about the project. So I think we may hear from some of them.
Hi, Commissioners. I'm Katie Noss. I'm one of the neighbors who's concerned about the project. I wanted to start by just sharing with you all that I've lived here for 41 years in Upper Allen Township and thanking Chief Parsons for his service. Yours is certainly not an easy job, so sincerely thank you. About the 1924 project, Commissioner Fairchild, I fully agree with what you just stated. I feel like I've learned a lot in the last number of months as this project has been laid out. And for that, I am appreciative because I didn't understand how our local government worked, and now I do. And my understanding is that ordinances are to protect the community and that decisions are to be made in the protection of the community and not at the threat of litigation by a developer. And so the things that you have suggested, the ordinances, the way that they're written, the land dedication, that is out of respect for the community. And I fully agree and support the position to gather the full land dedication and not the funds. So I just wanted to say that I appreciate that. I appreciate that you're not just being bullied by the developer on this. Additionally, I wanted to just make you aware that there are red hawks nesting on the property currently. And so that is, at least my understanding is that is something that has to be accounted for during any type of development project, that nest would not be tampered with. We also have come to understand that there was a public notice posted at some point on the property, but it's about 250 feet off the road and it's on a sheet of paper like this. So for anyone to have actually seen it, I really don't know how they would have. And so that doesn't really feel like, again, it feels disingenuous, like you're not really trying to make a public notice if it's not something that the public can actually see from the road. And again, I do continue to have significant concerns about the stormwater situation in that area. I know that there was some concessions made around what type of stormwater, I don't understand all the details, but basically it was a deferral in terms of allowing them to do something that's not within the ordinances in an area where there's already stormwater conditions that are not ideal. So I appreciate that you guys are taking the time to really investigate this. As someone who lives directly across the street, I truly do appreciate you taking the time to really consider this. So thank you very much.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Kyle Noss, 1929 Fisher Road. I live across the street. That was just my wife. We were here in March and we went through a plan review as well. There were several deferrals. And I'm assuming from the plan presented tonight, most of those deferrals have gone away. Sidewalk and curbs and road widening, for instance, those were the three that I would expect to go away. The last one that was still in effect, and it was a modification going along with the ordinance conversation, there's a volume control for stormwater. There's on-site detention facilities that they're putting in. But I would like to hear a little bit more about that, because from the two calculations, and maybe the code officer could speak to that a little bit more. There's two different ordinances or two different calculations that can be used to calculate stormwater. So I'd just like a little bit more information on that and what the actual deferral or modification is, because I didn't really get a good understanding from the last time it was presented. I wasn't able to be here for that conversation, so I would like a little bit more explanation on that. I would say that I am happy to see that there are sidewalks being considered. So I'm happy to see that on the plan, but to your point, it's up to you guys whether or not you need that acre or accept the money instead. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Did staff or the engineer have any response about the stormwater? I believe that was also a concern.
Yeah, I mean, I can generalize it, and the applicant obviously has an engineer here that's adequately familiar with the proposal. Regarding the support of the waiver request for volume controls, the site does not infiltrate. The developer's proposing a managed release concept. It's a newer form of stormwater management that's being accepted by DEP. Our ordinance simply doesn't recognize those provisions. It's something that will be before you at some point in the future for an update to our standard stormwater ordinance. In this case, because the applicant can't achieve infiltration, this is the best alternative that is available for addressing stormwater on the site.
Any other public comment? Yes, sir.
I'm Robert Banzoff. I live next door at 1930 Fisher Road. Can somebody bring up that plan of the, the zoning map, please? If I go over my 3 minutes, my wife's giving me her 3 minutes. But you let other people go way over 3 minutes.
This pauses in our time, Bob. So.
Okay, well, we'll hope that gets up. If you look there, everything's single family homes. And the property that they're proposing to develop was a single family home. When that zoning was changed to that, there is no, by any stretch of the imagination, that the commissioners at the time or any commissioners up to this point would think that somebody tried to stuff in townhouses where there was a single family house. So that's the first thing. The other thing, I got all my stuff here, with the acre, when I was meeting out there with everybody, the attorney said, well, who's going to take care of that acre back there? Well, I met with, over at the Strocks yesterday. Mr. Strock will continue to farm that and actually pay the township to do it like you paid the previous people. I also asked about that piece of ground between that ground in the park. I said, would there be a possibility of that, going to the township at some point in time? And he said, yes, I'd rather see that than development. So we got that part taken care of. When I was at that meeting, there should be a cul-de-sac at the end. And, I asked the young engineer, why isn't there a cul-de-sac? Well, this is the minimum we have to do. Common sense says there should be a cul-de-sac for emergency vehicles to turn around, trash trucks to turn around, and everything else. The other question I asked the young man at the time, the water runoff. It said, this just doesn't make sense. Like drainage underground up at the top, but the low ground is where like 3.52 acres is. And again, he says, that's the minimum we have to do. Things should be done correctly, not the minimum we have to do to make our money and then let somebody stuck with the problem down the road. That's just wrong. It's not our fault that they may have bought a piece of ground without doing their homework and not making the money they think they were going to make. I've been in real estate since 1981. I've made mistakes too doing this. Any questions? Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Oh, we have another lady coming up.
This is all bogus.
Good evening, Tina Prinz, Upper Ellen resident. This is the first time I'm looking at it. I've been fighting data centers. So I pulled up the comprehensive plan for Upper Allen Township, and I just wanted to point out some things. Under Chapter 2, we say objectives is to discourage uses that would be detrimental to nearby single-family residential development. Chapter 4, land use. Development that would harmonize and enhance the existing community. Objectives, preserve single-family detached residential. To encourage residential designs, preserving as much of the original landform. Six homes per acre. I don't quite understand how that works. To maintain or enhance the character of existing residential neighborhoods. There aren't townhomes down this way. So I started looking at, this used to be, before 2013, was low density. It got changed. I'm kind of confused how that all changed because I live on an acre and a half. Could that become townhome someday? I don't know. I don't think my neighbors would be too happy about that. So medium residential, I'm looking at the math. If a tract is less than 10 acres, a minimum lot size of 15,000 square feet should be permitted. That's about a third of an acre. So that would be 3 homes per acre. If this is 3.5 acres, how are they getting 19? That's not even new math. There should be no more than 10. So I'm not sure how they're proposing 19 homes. I'm not good at math, but I know that math isn't mathing. Again, I'm not quite sure when we went from R1 to R2 for that, but it's 3 acres with single family homes around it. People who have lived here for years would never expect townhomes to go in their backyard. And then the math, 19 townhomes. Should be no more than 10. Regardless of if they give an acre or not, we should stick to the comprehensive plan. That's why we have a comprehensive plan. It serves as the guidelines for our commissioners, regardless of if it's former commissioners, future commissioners, current commissioners. Comprehensive plan should be what we follow. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? How does the board want to proceed? Do we have any other board member comments or?
I don't recall what the solicitor's recommendation was with regards to,
Well, it's just information, I think.
Correct. I said that I would like to provide legal advice to the board, but I would like to provide that in an executive session.
Okay.
So do we need to table is there any, is this information or was there proposed action? I thought this was just an informational.
Although we are under a deadline,
The-
there was an extension granted by the developer.
Yes.
And if a decision, I believe if a decision is not made this evening, that deadline would run. There's not, we can't table this to a later date.
They currently provided a time limit to September 2nd. And then when we last spoke with the developer, they were planning to submit a revised plan on the 19th for the 19th meeting. They would submit it to staff for review the first part of August to be on the 19th of August.
So we would be within the timeline if we take action on the 19th of August.
Correct. This evening, and I believe the applicant understood as well, this was just for discussion.
Well, I think that's maybe a reasonable request, because if we have to take action tonight, I don't think they're prepared. They haven't demonstrated that they're prepared for us to take action, in my view.
I think this is something they wanted too. If you wanted guidance from the board. No.
So what's the plan? I mean, are you going to talk to adjoining landowners, or are you going to see if you could make a viable project minus an acre of land that you give to the township, or is it same old, and then we take action in
Yeah, we'll explore all options, see what, comes to a head, and then we'll submit a plan for, I guess it would be you guys changed it from August 5th to the 3rd, right?
Third, yeah.
So if we submit by the 3rd, we should be on, okay. And we'll come forth with our best idea then, and then we can take action on the 19th and go from there.
And from my perspective, I would really encourage you to do that, because since we met on site, I haven't seen any changes, any information, any updates. It feels like it's a wait game, but maybe I'm incorrect.
This plan that I provided to you is a significant change from the first idea that we brought forth, which was basically just saying, hey, we want to do the fee in lieu. And so as an alternative to that, we decided, hey, the township wants, probably wants some connectivity between the parks, and that's what we tried to show here.
Okay.
So.
Did you have a response to the, what is it, an NPDES permit, like way back on the property? 8.5 by 11 posted.
Oh,
I mean, some neighbors saw that or something, and they didn't see good faith in that, and that,
So when you get a draft permit.
They're being recorded somewhere.
So when you do get a draft permit, so the permit has not been.
You need to introduce yourself for the record.
Len Bradley, RGS Associates. When you get a draft permit, so the permit is still being issued, it's during going through the process. They give you an 8.5 by 11 notice you have to post on the site. You're supposed to center that in the site. So you got it as close to the road as we possibly thought was feasible. And then what is also has to be, I believe, at the place of business of the developer too. So that we're required to post it in 2 different locations. So that's why we follow the directions of where we're supposed to post it.
Due to the orientation of the lot being, deep, that's how that kind of shook out. If it was, turned and along the frontage of Fisher Road, it would have been right in the middle.
But then you're requiring people to trespass to read the notice. That doesn't make sense.
I'll be honest, there's a lot of things about the whole process from an NPDES permit perspective that don't make sense. We don't write it, we just have to abide by it.
Okay.
I'd like to see, I know you're working on some other plans. I think, I'm sorry, I don't recall the person who spoke from the audience. I don't recall your name, I'm sorry, but you had mentioned about, I think it was maybe Mr. Bansoff, about not having a cul-de-sac. And I know you're working on other plans, and I know that the permit or that the ordinance allows you to not have one. I do agree with your concerns about not having adequate space for emergency vehicles there. And I'm wondering if you're altering the plan in some way, if you could include a cul-de-sac. And also before we get to the August meeting, maybe this doesn't need to be said, but I'd like to make sure that Mr. Bansoff and Mr. Keat and others who will be affected by this are at least on board with the trail or the sidewalks, because without that, I don't know that we can give an honest response in August.
Sure. Any other questions?
Anybody else?
Do we need a motion to table it or do we just table it?
Before,
Just a-
before that, we were, well, what I'm gonna do-
Advising, just for point of clarification, I'm looking at Keldine and our solicitor. I'm to advise on the type of dwelling unit that's permitted on an access drive. Is that correct?
Correct. And by way of background, you recently became employed with the township, and so you didn't necessarily have a chance to review this plan
That's correct.
earlier than recently. And so you have independently reviewed the plan and you've found this additional issue.
Right, I had a question. I was reviewing the ordinance for other plans that are coming before us in preparation for discussions with other developers. And the definition of access drive, as I read that, as of Monday, does not provide for single-family attached or single-family dwellings. It provides for other types of uses, and single-family dwellings would be on a street, have street frontage requirements, which are, would be a public road or a private, a public street or a private street. So I've been having some discussion on, this does not appear to be a permitted type of street for single-family attached. And then that led me to other questions about the use itself. So.
Yeah, we'd be happy to have
Yeah,
that
have that
conversation. I want to look into it as well. So if you just.
The definition.
If we can have some email correspondence, maybe back and forth, if you address some of the questions, we'd be happy to provide a response.
Thank you.
Now that that's on the record, if the board wants to table the matter for a later date, I believe that would be appropriate.
I move we table this plan.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. But I don't believe we have anything for Public Improvement Committee or Sanitary Sewer. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Although Jason is here, I thought the public should be aware, when is the start date in Mount Allen for the paving? That's our next big project. I know they're awaiting some supplies, some pipe has been delivered and so forth.
Yeah, they're going to start replacing stormwater infrastructure as early as tomorrow. That work will carry through the majority of August with paving improvements to follow sometime towards September.
So under the Administrative Committee, we have resolutions for a multimodal transportation fund grant, 3 different grants, application for Mount Allen Area Roadway Project, $469,147 project cost. Grant amount being requested is $328,402. I believe, is it Allison will speak to this, and probably we should go through them one at a time. There's 3 different grants, but.
Absolutely. So the first one will be for the Mount Allen area for Circle Drive, Orchard Lane, Reservoir Road, Pocono Drive, Bighorn Drive. So our total project for this will be just under $470,000. We're going to request an LSA grant to cover 70% of our costs. So our portion that we would be responsible for would be $140,745, reducing our 2027 roadway cost, if approved.
So the second one is application for Breezewood Hills area, $540,236 project cost, grant amount of of $378,136.
Yes. So our portion responsible of 30% would be $162,100. Would be what we would be responsible for if this grant were approved.
Okay, and then we have an application for Geneva Drive area, $264,065 project cost, grant amount of $184,845.
And likewise, if we're approved, it would be $79,220 that we would be responsible. So taking our total cost from almost $900,000 down to a little over 300. So we would be saving a good portion should our grants be approved.
And I'm sorry.
That would be wonderful.
The funding source is the same for all three, correct?
All three of them would be coming from DCED Multimodal Transportation Fund.
So, I mean, if we hit a home run, I mean, we'd have a party, but it's possible that only one or two. could be-
Correct.
So.
It is possible to get one funded, all three funded, or even be awarded reduced funds for all
Okay,
three.
so there's options on that.
Yes.
Do you recommend, Mr. President, do we need to take each resolution separately, or can I make a motion that we can have all three?
I did three separate resolutions, so you're thinking all three separate.
Could I just get some clarification before we
Sure.
take the next step? So the eligible projects listed include a number of different things. What are we anticipating?
What do you mean?
Are we paving the roads, these pedestrian infrastructure, sidewalks, crossings? We've got a number of different things listed.
Yeah, so the project is going to include asphalt, removing the roadway, repaving. In my grant project description, I included the option for potential stormwater repair. It's not included in the cost estimate, but I still put it in the project description in case we run into stormwater issues that we can include in our cost.
Great, thanks.
I tried to keep it as open-ended as possible in the project description, just in case.
Want a motion?
Yeah, if you know how to move it.
Sure. I would move that we approve staff, or I would move we adopt resolution 1128 to approve staff to apply for a multimodal transportation fund grant of $469,170. What? Is that 469 million? That's not.
469, 147.
Yeah, okay, I don't know where the number came from.
Must be some.
$469,147 to be used in the Mount Allen area.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I move we adopt resolution 1129 to authorize staff to apply for a multimodal transportation fund grant in the amount of $540,236 to be used in the Breezewood Hills area and related streets.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I move we adopt resolution 1130 to authorize staff to apply for a multimodal transportation grant in the amount of $264,066 to be used in the Geneva Drive and related area.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you, Ken.
We're betting on you, Ally.
Fingers crossed.
Okay, next up, we have the authorization to advertise land preservation referendum ordinance. Solicitors prepared a draft based on previous comments. The board has.
We have copies.
Looked at it.
Correct. Can you display a copy of the ordinance or the draft ordinance? At the last Board of Commissioners meeting, we had discussed an initial draft of this ordinance and the commissioners had made comments about recommendations to change the initial draft. I have incorporated those changes into a new draft that would be the draft to be advertised. If the commissioners have any additional changes, we would need to make those tonight so that I would have time to make those changes and then get this advertised for, we're going to have a special, we rescheduled our next meeting for
August 3, no.
what date? August
3rd.
August 3rd.
So do we have to take action tonight, or is this just to share it and then we'll vote on it August 3rd?
No, this is what will be advertised. And so this is what will be considered on August 3rd. So any more changes, we need to make those tonight so
Okay.
that the advertised version is what is considered at the next meeting.
Mike, can you slowly scroll that up? I was looking for,
Top.
no,
Okay.
I know one very technical comment is Eric had some comments about how I was articulating mills and wanted me to put a 0 behind the 0.2. So I'm going to make that change.
Yeah, thank you. I think it becomes clearer that way.
Right. So it'll say 0.20 instead of 0.2 at every place where it discusses mills.
And I think you might need an end parentheses after assessed valuation in the preamble.
Okay, yes.
I see, after valuation.
Yeah.
And the other one, section 2, the question, like some of the language is bold and some is not.
That was an issue. I was on vacation last week and I got this done before I left for vacation. I sent it in a red line, and when you do things in red line, you like things like whether it's bolded or not are not apparent. And so that was just I wanted to get this to you as soon as possible. So that should have been bolded.
I was going to say the whole thing.
Yeah,
be in bold,
it should have been
most likely.
bolded. It just didn't, I didn't see it whenever I did it because it was in red line.
I had a suggestion or a thought, but I don't know if it got to this. In terms of, we reference here that it can be used for farming and ag land, ag purposes, et cetera, and natural resources and woodlands, et cetera. I was suggesting maybe we put something in that it would exclude building structures and waterways. I, for one, am more comfortable with it really honing in on land as opposed to all these peripheral things that could conceivably.
Well, I guess we could put that in, but I don't see anywhere in this ordinance where it would support these funds being used for buildings or structures or waterways.
So what if there's a historic structure, a historic farmhouse on a farm that we're going to preserve? Would we use monies then to pay for or rehabilitate that building?
I think we took that out. That was in the other.
I think we
earlier
struck
one.
the storage.
Well, we struck out.
I think we struck that out.
We struck out historical, and I saw some comments online about whether or why isn't there a specific exemption for certain historical structures, but there would be no reason to put in specific exemptions because we took out historical purpose altogether. So there would be no reason to have call outs for individual structures.
And I think it reads in here somewhere, it's predominantly undeveloped land.
Yes, that's
But
in the
there
statute.
could be a structure on it.
The-
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
Yeah, could purchase on.
or Josh can answer, but it's predominantly. land.
So what we're doing tonight is approving this and any changed language to post to be the ordinance that we will take action on August 3. And that includes the funding structure. I mean, this funding is saying that we're going to fund it by earned income tax and property tax, correct?
Yeah, it says that on intent.
But if for some reason we wanted to change that, we have to change it tonight and not on the 3rd, I guess.
Change it to well.
This evening
We have to
before we
do it.
go to
Yeah.
advertise.
So we,
I like the split between earned income and property, but I'm still not comfortable. I still have reservations about putting the tax burden on young and middle-aged families to pay for something that primarily is an initiative by we older people.
that's kind of why we did the joint plan.
I know,
which
it was a step in the right
I
direction.
think was a step in the right
But
direction.
I would-
Made it more equitable. I shared with Jen, I was a little worried. There's not a whole lot of these joint plans out there that have passed or been put forth. But there was actually one in 2024. It's East Whiteland Township in Chester County, which is near Exton, Wayne, the Philadelphia area. And it passed. It was a combination plan that passed with 58% approval.
With
That's
both
very
earned
similar.
income
Right.
and property.
I have a copy for you, for anybody who wants it. So, I mean, we're following that language template, basically. And a lot of this is prescribed anyway in that Open Spaces Act.
And thank you. This doesn't say anything then about how it's being managed or processed or implemented. This is really just the enabling legislation to put a plan into place. Is that it?
Correct. And I've looked at numerous ordinances from many different municipalities that have passed these referendums, and that is not an issue that I've seen addressed in those ordinances. I question whether you would spend the time and energy to articulate all those factors if before there was a referendum that was successful, why you would spend the time to articulate that.
But then what's the process after the referendum passes? Then
The referendum would pass and there would be a tax increase, but then it would be up to the Board of Commissioners to implement how that tax increase would be administered.
You like write an ordinance creating the land preservation board or your priorities, how you want to do it. And of course, Silver Spring has already done something similar as all these municipalities. It's just generally not done at this stage. Is that fair enough? I mean, you're like,
Yeah, because you
Jump.
don't know if it passed.
if it's going to pass.
Well, correct.
yeah, but if it does pass, then you're skunked. You got to live with whatever you choose afterward.
But you don't have to reinvent the wheel. I mean, it's a lot of that's also prescribed.
But what happens? Okay, but this is silent on the board that's going to be formed. And is the board a decision-making board or an advisory board?
That would be decided by the Board of Commissioners.
Well, I'd like to know that.
I would call it advisory. And then the final decision rests with the commissioners.
Well, I would hope that's the case, but if without saying that, what's to prevent us or someone after us to just say like, oh, we'll set up an advisory board that is sympathetic and then they have, I don't like, to me, the final decision making should be to the elected board. Because we're elected by the citizenry to represent the township. So I don't like some I was going to say rogue, that's not kind, some appointed board to be able to make decisions and start handing out money to their friends and farmers across the township.
But don't they make the recommendation, kind of like the HAR would make a recommendation to the board
Yeah,
for
that's what I'm trying,
appropriateness?
that's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to make sure is what we're talking about.
Right.
Are you proposing that all of that be included in the language of the referendum?
I don't know, Jen, but if it's not, then we've given away, then what happened? I guess,
The language of the referendum is prescribed by statute and
Okay.
there's not anything in the
okay,
there's not anything in the statute that says what the language of the referendum has to be
Okay.
that says that the.
I'm
funding
normally not
mechanism is
suspicious,
decided.
but I'm a little suspicious tonight, so it's just the way I woke up today.
Well, I was just looking at the process at the county level, and maybe what we could do is, obviously, this needs to be discussed internally. I'm not suggesting that it happen immediately, but maybe we take some of that language and use that as an example on our website of how the process will be for establishing that review board and what their work would look like, understanding that it's not in the referendum, written out in the referendum, but it could be included on our site as what we're expecting will happen as next steps.
Yeah, because like the county has program guidelines. and all that.
Right.
If you're talking like an agricultural easement and you're going
Right.
to partner with the county, you basically should adopt the same guidelines.
It should be similar.
As.
Yeah.
Well, and if the board could put language into this ordinance that would establish those parameters. Now, that still wouldn't be in the language of the actual referendum, but if citizens were really involved and wanted to know what was allowed, they could go and look at the ordinance, the enabling ordinance language, and that would limit how those funds could be administered.
Yes, question.
That
after the
language
referendum's passed.
Does that language need to be finalized tonight, or is it just the language of the referendum that needs to be finalized tonight, which my understanding is prescribed rather specifically and not able to include all the additional information?
The ordinance language has to be finalized.
Tonight as well. Okay.
Because my concern is if we make any substantial changes to the language of the ordinance at the August 3rd meeting, that may require re-advertisement, which would, then the timeline that's been proposed would not be able to be accomplished. So if you want to accomplish this at the November 2026 election, then we have to finalize this language tonight. Well, we don't have to have the exact language. You can basically tell me
Okay.
what your idea is. If you want language in about, and if you want language, I can put that in the next couple of days, and then what would be advertised. And the public would have an opportunity to view that before the August 3rd meeting.
But it's not normally in the ordinance.
Correct.
Yeah.
I have not seen that type of language in any of the other ordinances that I reviewed.
There's at least.
Can I ask a
4
question,
posted
Sister?
on the We Can Serve website.
Yeah, I'm looking at this,
Yeah, we'll get the agenda, I know.
Just about the process. He mentioned the process. I thought it might help the discussion. I thought the process was, I think you just said, once the vote passes the referendum, that there's a tax, but there's not a tax until you actually implement it, right?
Well, correct.
It gives you the authority to implement a tax, and then you have to go and take that
That's
step.
what Silver Spring did.
So
That
there's
was
another
the next-
step in there, and I thought you might be
There's
missing that.
step,
And I
then
just wondered.
There's land preservation.
Actually, that's helpful,
Thank you.
Jim. Thank you. Yeah, we have another decision point then.
Yeah, you have like 2 more. Or probably 3, because then you need to advertise those
But-
other.
just as a point of clarification here, we did determine at our last meeting that if the referendum passes, we must move forward with the tax. There is not an opportunity for us to say the referendum passed, but we're going to stop the process now.
Yes, if the voters approve a tax increase, you have to increase the taxes. You can't go against the will of the voters and not do what they
So it's a binding referendum. If a referendum passes, we must implement a land preservation program.
Correct.
I'm sitting here looking at like Barry and Linda and Jeff Kluge and even Paul or whatever. You have some familiarity with this. You could all be part of this land preservation board to make sure it's done correctly.
But
And they all have experience. I mean, I think
Sure.
we've done very well with the committee, the advisory committee structure with the number of people that volunteer and want to serve on them. I mean, that's what happened to Silver Spring. They had a really good core group of people that wanted to see it through, properly.
I just want to make sure that the final decision-making authority rests with
With
this
the
board.
board. Oh, yeah.
And Phil clarified that.
And Josh did too, I think. But did other public a comment about the ordinance or the draft that's written or anything anybody else saw that maybe should be corrected or changed at this stage?
Ken, you were talking about the tax thing earlier. That was the first thing you led with, like on that paragraph on the intent.
Oh.
On the first page.
Mm-hmm.
Were you satisfied with earned income tax and property tax?
Well, I guess you gotta compromise. I'm not amused by any earned income tax, but it's okay. The halfway was a concession.
And here again, you don't have much choice. You either property tax, earned income, combination, or bond issue.
Or head tax, or can't we
I
do?
don't think you could use a head tax. It's only like the three, Josh. I
Can't
believe.
you do a 511? Doesn't that allow for a head tax or a individual tax?
No, the statute provides for EIT, property tax, or bond issue.
You mean a statute to preserve land?
It prescribes the language.
I didn't realize. Okay.
It gives you the funding option.
I didn't realize that they were that specific in the statute.
What else was your point? Oh, you're asking, is Ken
Does it,
satisfied?
what about donations? Is that in the statute?
No.
But that's been suggested, and the county has a mechanism to receive donations for land preservation.
So are we ready?
I think so.
I would move to authorize the advertisement of the land preservation ordinance 1150.
Oh, okay.
I'm not, did you allow public comment before the? Go ahead.
Actually, this is a question for you. Jeff Kluge, 45 Elm Drive. If this does not pass, what is the mechanism to allow it to continue or not? If the referendum, if the question goes forward and it goes on in November, what is the process if it fails? For this to be reinvigorated to come back if they want to try again?
If they would want to try again, then they would have to go through this ordinance. They would have to pass another ordinance.
Just 5 years or something?
No, the 5 years is only if it's approved. You can't reverse it for 5 years.
Yeah, statute allows 5 years for this to be in place. Okay.
If it fails, you can try again.
I think you can try again.
But in the analysis, the 157 that passed or failed, I mean, they seem gun shy. If it failed, they weren't coming back. Like one failed in South Middleton in 2008, and they haven't come back yet.
Right, and usually that's the difference when you're dealing with EIT or bonds. When they want to do a bond referendum, that winds up being a little bit more acceptable. So hypothetically, if this failed in November, if it's on and it fails, this could be put back on for the May primary, in theory.
Yes.
That's the reason I asked that, because I'm just kind of curious, is that are we rushing this right now? Because what Commissioner Martin had asked, I think when all of you were discussing, I don't think anything was definitive on November or May. So that's why I was bringing that up, and I wanted to ask the solicitor about that as well.
Well, I stated earlier, my preference would be to pause and make this whole discussion and process part of the comprehensive planning process and then, present then, but I was in minority in that.
So my understanding is under section 4 timing, it specifically references that the ballot referendum appear on the 2026 general election ballot.
As drafted.
Yes, as for your.
Right. Well, and that's why I wanted to clarify that, because I remember it was a discussion point with the board, so I didn't know what that was. Okay.
So that's what my motion would include.
If we approve this ordinance, I believe then that binds us to put it on the November 2026. ballot.
Minus any of the changes by the solicitor for what you guys were talking about. Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
I think we do have to wait 5 years if it fails. Can I ask for that to be checked?
What's that?
I think if it fails, we do have to wait 5 years.
I reviewed the statute and I didn't read it that way.
What I'm
because
finding
it
it-
only talks about if the statute is, if the referendum is
resident-
successful.
I know, I'm gonna shut up. I'm sorry. I'm not.
Pulling up.
It was asked. I mean, Josh had looked into it. But if you have a source, Jen, that would probably help.
I'll send it to you, Josh.
You want to email it to me and I'll look
Yep.
at it?
Doing it right now. It looks like it's relatively new, so maybe I'm interpreting it incorrectly.
Yeah, the reason I brought that up also is I know there was ambiguity about concerns about if referendum fail, how long you have to wait, because sometimes I think that is some of the ambiguity that attorneys will argue about. And I'm afraid that obviously we're concerned about having something like this pass, but also I'm interested in other options too, like existing funds and things like that, because just as the Commonwealth just passed its state budget, they're using existing special funds and transfers and things like that to balance the budget. So I know that we can be creative with our own revenues. If this had failed, then that's the thing. Where does that put us? That's why I want to make sure that we're all clear about how this moves forward. So if it is 5 years, I think that's a concern.
I think this might be specific to a certain type of referendum.
Okay. So I knew there was a
I
5-year.
had looked at the statute before and concluded that the 5-year prohibition was only if the referendum was successful. If I will double check that, if I was wrong about that, I can update the board on that at the August 3rd meeting before you would vote on actually enacting the ordinance.
That's it. Just questions I wanted to raise. All right. Thank you.
Jim Cochran, back one more time. Just at the last meeting, you talked about raising $1 million with the proposed sources. And I just wanted to, we had some discussion about what the number was. I think when it's fully implemented, it may raise $1 million, but you won't raise that the first year. I just want to make sure everybody's aware of that, because earned income tax comes in 2 pieces, current year and prior year, and there'll be nothing from the prior year. In fact, it'll take you a couple of years to get to that full prior year. So you're probably looking at $700,000 the first year and maybe $900,000 the second year. And by the third year, you'll get to $1 million. But since you stipulated the numbers now, I want to make sure
A good point.
everybody knew what the amount was.
Because the public, needs to be, there's always the current year and the prior year. It seems like
It's always a lag.
3 or 4 to 1 in terms of what's in the current year. But there is a lag. And we have gotten more information from the Cumberland County Tax Bureau to know, like at the profile of who's paying and so forth. We've been working on an earned income and property tax fact sheet so that the average, voter can, determine the impact on themselves. And we've spent a lot of time trying to be very clear with that and interpreting the millage and the little decimal points in the earned income tax to make sure everybody's clear on it. And I also didn't mention, the survey closed today. We have some preliminary information, but we're not quite ready to present I believe we'll present the survey results at the August 3rd meeting. Is that a fair statement? Okay.
Well, but that, you don't see that as impacting or informing this item tonight, right?
No, I mean, she sent us the raw data. I mean, we had, I think, 440 responses on the survey, which probably the best survey response we've had, in many years.
Yes,
On an
the
issue.
preliminary, before it was actually closed this evening, it was about 444 responses earlier this afternoon. As of earlier this afternoon, we will have a summary report from the consultant next week. If you would like, I can post it when we receive it and also explain it or review it on the August 3rd meeting.
In fairness, I think, did I see the email from you, Keldine, or it was a comment by Ryan who conducted the survey? You may want to look at waterways or something like that, but we're pretty much, I
He
think,
did have a few initial comments, but I would feel more comfortable waiting for his
Right.
report next week to discuss any details, but yes.
So are we ready to move to
Yeah,
authorize?
ready.
If I may continue with the, okay, sure. I move to authorize the advertisement of the Land Preservation Ordinance 1150, an ordinance of Upper Allen Township, Cumberland County, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, authorizing a referendum pursuant to the Open Space Lands Acquisition and Preservation Act as amended by Act 153 of 1996, 32 PS Section 5001 at SEQ, on the question of the imposition of an additional earned income tax at the rate of 1/20th of 1% and an increase in the real property tax at a rate not to exceed 0.2 mils to be imposed to raise revenue for financing the acquisition of open space, acquiring agricultural conservation easements, acquiring property development rights, and acquiring recreational lands, with the ballot referendum to appear on the 2026 general election ballot in November.
Second.
Second. Can you tell me the ordinance number again? You cited?
I have 1150. I believe that's,
Yes.
I've got 11,
Resolution is 1128 and ordinance is 1150.
I've got 1150 for the ordinance.
Yeah, ordinance.
Okay, thank you, Ken. Yeah, okay.
What should it be? 850? All right.
No, wait a minute.
That's 1150 on the sheet Ken has.
On the agenda. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
So 850. All right. So that would be referencing ordinance 850.
Do we have to do something?
Are you going to call for
Read it
discussion?
again unless I have to.
Yeah, I mean, you have. So what happens next if we approve this tonight? Then we will take the final action in August 3rd. In the meantime, will this proposed draft resolution be up on the website and be available to our advisory groups? And is it going to be done silently, or are we going to give folks at least an opportunity to see it? Because I would like to know before I take a final vote, what some people are thinking, or, I mean, we're getting some feedback, but how transparent are we going to be from tonight until August 3rd?
Yeah, the version of the version that will be advertised will be placed on the website.
Oh, okay.
So, and also the survey information.
Right. The draft is already on the website, and then.
But I'll update the draft
Right.
based on comments
Okay.
made
Next
tonight, and
day or
that'll
so.
be posted.
And then it's got to be advertised. It's 7 days, like twice in 7 days or something like that. There needs to be a legal notice.
Okay.
What we're doing also.
Okay, then there's opportunity with people in neighborhood chats and or social media posts and or whatever. People will know that it's coming.
And we always receive at BOC comments, the email to the township, which is shared with the commissioners.
Any other discussion?
Well, I think you convinced me. I'll vote now. I'm
Okay.
not telling you how I'm going to vote in the third, but
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Authorization to advertise. Next, we have introduction to Savvy Citizen.
Okay, as I announced in a previous meeting, we're replacing our current notification system to Savvy Citizen this year. And it's an app that's available. It's a free app that's available. And citizens can sign up to receive, well, I'll let, actually, I've assigned our Assistant Township Manager to take the lead on this project. So I'll let her do the introduction.
that's funny.
Okay, so Savvy Citizen's actually going to replace Final Sight, which is our automated phone call system. I have sat and put everything from our website onto the Savvy Citizen app. You would go through and download the app, create an account, or you can actually just do it straight from the website if you don't want another app on your phone. You're able to customize what kind of notifications that you would like. And you can customize what counties you want or communities you want. You can be in more than one municipality at the same time. I know I have mine set up for Dillsburg and then here. And then, for example, if you go into the trash alert for summer months, this is just the alert that I pushed out earlier this week, actually that Alexis pushed out earlier this week to let you know that the trash is going to be coming around earlier. You can get notifications by app push notification, text messages, and email instead of the robocalls. You can also customize what kind of notifications that you want. If you want just straight government notifications, which is of our meetings or trash updates, notices that we put on, you can do all kinds of different customization on what you're notified with. Any questions?
Is this live now?
It is live.
I'm setting up an account.
I have 45 people signed up and this is, today's the first time we're really rolling it out, so.
We will be doing structured communication outreach to the community. There will be an article in the upcoming newsletter and on all of our newsletters to follow for a while. We'll have the QR code on there so that you can register. We also have postings here in the township building and at our park facilities. So you will see more of those, including like a yard sale sign, like a small sign around the parks as well. And the QR code can be scanned, or you can visit the website, our township website, and sign up through that with the link.
This looks really great. I really appreciate you putting the effort in to pull this together. I'm just really excited. It looks very efficient and simple to use.
For our meeting notices, I have them set up that a push notification goes out 3 days prior to our meeting. So everybody that signs up gets notices when we have our BOC meetings, our all of the meetings that we host.
And I will remind you, this is 30% of the cost that we are currently spending on the phone call notifications, which in recent months we have found out have not been as efficient as we thought they were, so.
Josh had his hand up.
Josh Brownie, 34 Grantham Road. Ally, great work. I'm one of those 35 that had signed up. I will tell you, my watch and my phone have been buzzing nonstop because I didn't realize the custom notifications until the other day. So I think this is a fantastic idea. I think it is actually very well put together. Coming from an IT background, I like to be clean and neat with stuff. The only other question I have is for Josh. Can anything legally with the referendum be put out on this as another form of communication? I know there's only 35 of us. out there, but I just was curious if it could be done for future or in this particular.
Yes.
Oh, cool. All right. Other than that, thank you very much.
Thanks. Nope. So next we have authorization to purchase replacement ride-on sprayer. This is for the Parks Department. I know there's a memo somewhere.
I don't know if somebody's going to talk to it, but
Here it is.
there's a memo and the quote is through CoStarz from Turf Equipment. And it's a piece of equipment that you both can spray as well as spread fertilizer, I believe. And
Would you like me to read the memo or?
is this the one that we talked about in public improvements?
Yes.
I thought when Chad introduced it, it was a machine that could do both fertilizer application as well as spraying. Is that correct? Okay.
The pesticide application and the
Yep.
fertilizer, yes.
Okay, very good.
And that's used for on athletic fields, trees, mowing obstacles, et cetera. And I can go into a little more detail if you'd like. While only approaching 10 years old, this equipment that we currently have or is exposed to harsh environments and uses. And over the past years, the performance and reliability of this equipment has been declining. So pretty much every time we use it, we need to also repair it. Like that's part of the individual process there on a daily basis. After rewiring the machine recently, it is once more out of operation. It's again, we repair, we might get a use out of it and we repair it again. These issues have caused delays with application and projects like meadow renovations, which are time sensitive. So staff is making the recommendation for this purchase.
I would move that we authorize the purchase of the 2026 Toro Spray Master at a cost not to exceed $22,849.37 out of capital funds.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I thought Barry Strzok might jump up and tell us it's not a good sprayer or something. He didn't, but. Sure, I'm sorry. That's.
We do that on purpose.
Okay, so next we have solicitor
Oh,
update.
wait, can I just give a quick parks, a little note about the parks? July 22nd is the next parks meeting. That's next Wednesday at 6:30 PM. The next Bird Town meeting will be Wednesday, August 12th at 8 AM. That's also available on Zoom. Chad, Eddie, and I nominated Jeff Williams, who was the former Park and Rec Board Chair, for a Good Job PA Award from the Pennsylvania Rec and Park Society, and he won. So they're doing a presentation for him and other winners at Veterans Park in Susquehanna Township this Friday, July 17th, from 6 to 8 PM. So thank him for his 12 years of service to the Park and Rec Board and for his impact on the community. That's it.
What was that date again? I'm sorry.
This Friday.
Oh, this Friday, yeah.
So if anyone wants more info on that, just let me know.
I saw in a report that we're still collecting donations for the Fall Fest and we're up to 18,500 now before the Smith donation. Ooh.
What's the goal?
We didn't have a clearly defined goal this year. We just wanted to be able to pay for the laser light show, which we are able to, so.
Well, we are.
Yes.
We're having a laser.
Not the drone show. This is different. It's a laser light show. It's significantly less expensive than the drone
Oh,
show.
okay.
I thought maybe with Commissioner Smith's donation, we could have it. So-
Yeah.
Well, I haven't opened that envelope yet, so we'll see.
Right,
Stick to the lasers.
all righty. Solicitor update.
No update.
Capital Region COG update.
Matter of fact, we had the auction today. We have an annual auction where municipalities can donate equipment and furniture and used goods, and that was held today at Cedar Cliff High School, and I don't have the results yet, but I think we sold like 18 vehicles that municipalities had bought and a whole bunch of stuff. And so it was warm, but it was a good sale.
Okay, good.
And we have another meeting in July 20, our regular meeting.
Righty. Municipal Advisory Board update.
No update.
Okay. We have any additional public comment? Sure.
Linda Strock at 815 Williams Grove Road, Mechanicsburg. I have a concern about I think what it was referred to at one time as the blast calls or the robocalls, where people get alerted to, like you did with the survey. I think you did that with the survey, and it came to my landline instead of my cell phone, but I did get it. Of eliminating that, would eliminate a lot of people that don't have this IT technology and cell phones and laptops and a way to get this app where the blast call or robocall, I guess it's the same thing, would reach everyone with a telephone. And I don't think I know anyone that doesn't have a telephone. How are you going to reach those people? Or they have to drive around and look at signs at the park? How are they going to know about things?
Are you saying you got the call on your landline?
Yes.
Not on a cell phone?
Which is fine. I still got it. But I guess that's the number you have with me.
Yeah, can it do both?
I did,
Call a
guess I'd have to
cell
let,
number
I
and
have to let you know what it is. Maybe you don't know what it is, but doesn't this eliminate hundreds of people that don't have that technology? Laptops and apps and things?
You're referencing, Linda, the Savvy Citizen application that we introduced, right?
That doesn't.
And that requires a laptop or a mobile
Yeah,
phone. Okay,
yeah.
that's
Why
why.
I thought you were talking about the survey call that went
Well, I
out,
got the survey call.
but on your
That was-
landline.
That was that blast thing or that robocall thing. Is that what that is? Is that what that was? And we're eliminating that now? Is that what we're doing? Eliminating that now?
Replacing it with
To save some
Savvy
money.
Citizen.
So as you indicated on your cell phone, you can get the notification on your cell phone.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I got it on my landline.
No, I mean the new one.
The new
I'm referring to all the people that don't have computers and things.
Or cell
But you're
phone.
eliminating that, aren't you?
Someone who
Eliminating,
doesn't have a computer or a cell phone as well.
are you eliminating the robocalls or blast calls or whatever it's called? Are you eliminating those with this Savvy thing?
Yes, you would get, on your cell phone, you would receive a text notification. If we're happy to research another option. The robocall system that we were using cost over $20,000 a year. And it wasn't working properly and didn't reach many of the residents. So, we can look to see if there's other options for blast calls that are maybe less expensive for the individuals that don't have cell phones or computers.
Or don't have computers? I mean, I think everybody just about has a cell phone.
I agree.
Certainly a landline. Everybody has.
I agree. Most people nowadays have a cell phone. So they would receive that notification on your cell phone.
They would
You don't need a
still- Even
computer.
with the Savvy thing that you're producing or introducing?
You don't need a computer. We can get you signed up to receive it on your cell phone.
Okay.
That's how you can get it on an app, if you'd like the app. But we can also sign you up to receive notification on your cell phone. Mm-hmm, yes,
Even with this new Savvy thing.
yes, it's a text notification.
Because I kind of
If you-
misinterpreted, I guess, that
Yeah.
that was being eliminated. And that I found a bit alarming for many people.
We're
that-
happy to,
Okay.
if you want to stop by the office or give us a call and we can get you set up to
I mean,
receive.
I'm okay. I got it on my landline, so I'm fine. But I'm thinking of lots of people that don't have computers
Correct.
to get.
The old
I thought you were
inefficient,
eliminating that.
expensive system will no longer be used.
But
Yes.
people can still get it come to their phone,
Their cell phones,
their cell phones,
correct.
or their landline.
They will get a text notification.
Just
You
a
would get.
text.
Mhm, yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
My other question is this property at 1924 Fisher Road, that this very insincere, in my opinion, and disingenuous person, to use your wonderful word, seems to me like they bought the land and now they're just gonna, like they did on Market Street, just bought the land and now they're gonna try to bulldoze us all into letting them do pretty much what they want. My concern with this particular question is the signage. I travel Fisher Road all the time. I've never seen a sign on this property. And then we were talking about how far back they set it back. These signs are usually right along the road. Where you're driving down the road, you see the sign, you stop your car and you read the sign. Where does the person have the sign? They made it sound like, well, the only place we could put it is way back there where you can't see it. Is it way back there? I've never seen the sign. I'm going to look at it on the way
I
home.
mean, the neighbors sent us some pictures that where it is.
Is it way back?
Yeah, like in the middle of the property.
So how
and
far
some
back
trees.
is that? It's pretty
Like
far back.
100 feet.
Don't we have a ruling on that has to be put where you can actually see it? And if you can't see it, then it's not advertised.
The
It's not
gentleman
properly.
referred to it as a draft sign, but I don't know if he explained if it becomes a permanent sign where they're gonna put it. Not even a permanent sign is.
They can
it's
put
for
it
so
anywhere.
many-
It sounded to me like there were requirements around the organization that provides those permits, that requires it to be, that DEP requires it to be at the midpoint of the parcel.
Midpoint mean
The middle of the parcel is what he stated.
by the
Well,
road or that way?
Well, because that parcel goes this way, they chose the middle that way.
And that's legal? None of us ever
To
saw.
the gentleman who spoke, and I don't want to speak on his behalf, he said that that was the regulation that they were required to
Is it?
follow.
Is it our regulation that most of us don't even know it's there?
Yeah, it doesn't seem right to me.
No, it's not
We need to
right.
look into it.
Because
And
in my opinion, it has not been advertised because
I know like in Lower Allen Township, they use like a regular metal sign frame, like with a lime green background. And then they post the notice in the middle of that. And it's always like right by the road. You see it, like something's happening to that.
I drive around and I see those kinds of signs and I
To
think
me, we should do something similar, or maybe it's a text amendment in the future to require that.
you ought to be able to see the sign.
Yeah.
And know it's actually
It
there.
needs to be visible, from the road to get your
Yeah,
attention, I
without
think.
having to travel with binoculars or like someone said, trespassing on the property, traipsing back through the property just to see what the heck that is. And it might not be even what we think it is. Trespassing on someone's property to see what it is.
Yep.
That's my thought on the fact that I don't even think that was advertised properly by that person. Okay.
All right, thank you. Alrighty, do we need an executive session? We do, okay. So we will go into executive session. Thanks, everybody, for coming out tonight.